I'm Monsignor Roger Landry, National Director of the Pontifical Mission Societies in the United States. It's day 10 of our missionary pilgrimage to Nigeria. You just saw the outside of the new cathedral in Abuja, which is dedicated to the 12 apostles. And behind me is the staging for the altar that St. John Paul II used in his 1998 visit to Abuja. And so the government of Nigeria gave this property over to the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Archbishop of Abuja has decided to build a new huge cathedral for the Catholic people of the Archdiocese here. Earlier today on day 10, we had a tremendous lunch with the Papal Nuncio to Nigeria, Archbishop Michael Crotty, whom I knew from my study time in Rome. He stayed at the North American College as a young priest studying at the Diplomatic Academy when they were renewing the Diplomatic Academy and rebuilding it. He came up to stay, and so we've known each other now for almost 3 decades. It was great to see him doing his job, getting his perspective on the church in Nigeria, and in a particular way talking about how the Pontifical Mission Societies, especially in the United States, might be able to help out the church in Nigeria. And now we're coming on our last full day here in Nigeria to see what we would have missed. And so here we're seeing a little bit of the past as well as the future. The past here in the visit of St. John Paul II to spur the Nigerians on in the practice of the faith, and a little bit of the future in the new cathedral, which is going to be a house where God will be worshiped for a century or more to come. Continue with us as we go inside the new cathedral. I'm Monsignor Roger Landry, National Director of the Pontifical Mission Societies. Welcome to day 10 of our pilgrimage. We're here inside what's going to be the new cathedral of the 12 apostles in Abuja. It's already been started. You can see that it hasn't been finished, but it's already being used, especially for the biggest ceremonies that take place in the Archdiocese of Abuja, like ordinations, in which this place is totally packed. It still is very much in need of completion. These are among the projects that Americans can support through the Society of the Propagation of the Faith, so that they've got a worthy place, not just to receive the faithful of Abuja and across the country of Nigeria, but also the Lord himself. It's been pretty impressive walking around this cathedral that's in the process of being completed. We can already kind of see in an embryonic form what it can become, what its potential is, as soon as it's finished. We know that great cathedrals sometimes can take more than a century to build. That's what happened with Chartres. That's what happened with Notre Dame. That's what happened with St. Peter's new basilica, the 400th anniversary of which we're going to be celebrating this November 18th. It can take a time. It can take a while. It can be the project of generations. That's what the Catholics in Nigeria are assuming, but they are likewise looking for our help. Let's help them to really make this a place splendid for God. Monsignor Roger Landry, day 10 of our missionary pilgrimage to Nigeria. I'm here on the expansive campus of Veritas University. That used to be called the Catholic University of Nigeria, but then it took on the name of Jesus, the title he gave himself when he said, "I am the truth." Because all education is ultimately seeking the truth, no matter what field of study. All truth comes from God. And as St. John Paul II once said, it's like streams coming down a mountainside, that if you follow any of those streams of truth back up to its source, you're going to find truth with a capital T. You're going to find God himself. And so that's what a university does. I'm super happy to be able to see the fruit of Catholic education in Nigeria culminating in this national university called Veritas. It's now got about 7,000 students, mostly undergrads, but there are various graduate faculties. They have schools of medicine, schools of law, schools of engineering, schools of humanity, pharmaceutical sciences, various literature and other faculties as well. Their big issue is housing. They could take so many more students, but because of insecurity issues in Nigeria, where sometimes people at Catholic institutions get kidnapped. They want everybody who studies here to be able to live within the university walls and be protected. So as I'm talking, we'll just do a little bit of a scan of some of the aspects of the campus. Right behind me, initially, you can see the chapel here. Even the Muslim students have to come to Catholic Mass every Wednesday with the other students. You can see the boys' dormitories over here to the right. The girls' dormitories you'll be able to see over to my left. But it's a sprawling campus which is only to continue to grow. And it is a real sign of mature hope in Nigeria that the church in Nigeria are forming Catholic leaders, not just religious and priests who come here for their graduate degrees, but also so many bright Nigerian lay people who are going to be able to go out as salt, light, and leaven and help the church in her mission in every field. God bless you. Monsignor Roger Landry, the end of day 10 of our missionary pilgrimage to Nigeria. In the afternoon, we had a beautiful experience with about 200 young children from what we would call the Missionary Childhood Association here in Nigeria. They call it the Holy Childhood Association. They gave speeches, they sang. I asked them a whole bunch of questions about who was the foundress of the Missionary Childhood Association, who gave us the World Mission Rosary 75 years ago, who helped the bishop who was the founder of the Holy Childhood Association, and what did she do with regard to the Rosary. And the children knew all the answers to those questions. Do you know the answers to the questions? Do you know that it was Fulton J. Sheen who gave us the World Mission Rosary? That Blessed Pauline Jericho, the founders of the Society of the Propagation of Faith, 200 years ago this year, gave us the Living Rosary, in which 15 friends would take each 1 decade of the Rosary so that they'd pray the whole Rosary every day. This was at the time after the French Revolution. And likewise, they knew that it was Bishop Charles de Fort-Benjason who founded the Missionary Childhood Association in 1843. It was a wonderful time, and then we came here to the headquarters of the Pontifical Mission Societies in Nigeria, where its national director, Father Solomon Zaku, who has been our host and our guide throughout these last 10 days, hosted us for a celebratory dinner. I'd like to call Father Solomon Zaku in right now to share some of his impressions as he traveled with the Americans around his beloved Nigeria.
Thank you, Monsignor Landry, for giving me the opportunity to share my experiences during your visit. I begin by thanking you for coming to Nigeria. Your visit was a source of inspiration to us because all the places we went, you saw how the people were happy, expressing their joy, their happiness because of the support that they received from the Pontifical Mission Societies, especially that of the United States of America. Personally, I was also strengthened seeing the faith of the people, most especially when we went to Owo to celebrate Mass, where over 41 people were killed on Pentecost Sunday 2022, but many came out still very happy. One of the touching moments was when I saw a woman on wheelchair who was a victim of that bombing, yet she was in the church celebrating with the people of God joyfully and happily. That has touched me, and I believe you were touched by it also. So thank you for coming. Thank you for all you do. Extend our regards to all the people of God in the United States of America. Tell them we love them, we are praying for them, and we appreciate their support.
We will certainly pass on those messages. Thank you for being with us during this virtual pilgrimage over the course of these last 10 days. We'll have one more video tomorrow on the 11th day as we're returning to the United States of America, summing up from our perspective some of the highlights of a trip that was filled with highlights. Until then, God bless you.